Darryl. Help us.
Odd how I seem to remember my dreams as I sleepwalk around town. The lack of sleep will do that to a person. Makes you feel like you are walking with cement blocks on your feet sometimes. Must be 2 a.m. already. Where's Miss Lemon? I hope she's okay. I hope this isn't a trap. This wouldn't be the first time someone I was supposed to meet was late. Usually a good reason when it comes to missing persons, though. The trauma leads to insomnia. The hope leads to restlessness. And the fear leads to forgetfulness. I almost gave up.
You know those things will kill you?
Yeah, I could only be so lucky. What have you got for me?
How are you doing? You look tired.
Nothing a hit from my flask wouldn't fix.
Isn't alcohol legal?
That's where you got me all wrong. I'm no cop. Cops are connected to politicians and bribes in this town. I'm just a concerned citizen looking to expose the truth.
I thought people like you were supposed to bust the distillers.
I don't believe alcohol makes us bad. I think alcohol reveals who you are. Besides, I find out the best information in a speakeasy. You'll be surprised who's willing to talk to keep their place hidden.
That's good to know. What lies ahead will sometimes lead us outside the law.
I'm listening.
First, I know you've been researching something. Why?
I'm just tying up some loose ends. I dream just like anyone else, but those dreams are sometimes tied to past cases, or they're scrambled hunches for a current one.
Dreams?
Never mind that. I don't like being kept in the dark. Even if you seem like a sweet dame, trust must be earned. And I still don't know who you are.
What do you know about the occult?
Hooded men, black cloaks, ancient texts, altars, gibberish. Usually just a front to recruit suckers to do the bidding of a corrupt politician. Though I do like the candlelit hideouts. Much easier to gain leverage on the weakest link when all they can hear is your voice.
You don't believe?
I've seen strange things in my life. Terrible things. Monsters. But let me tell you something, sweetheart. Those monsters are just like you and me. Only they like to hurt others. They want to control and dominate the world. People make up stories of demons and boogeymen to hide us from the fact that the most horrible acts are committed by humans.
What if I told you that shadows can be alive?
I would say you are paranoid that someone's following you. And based on how we're meeting, I would think you really believe this. What does the occult have to do with Franklin? Did he get mixed up with something he wasn't supposed to see?
Something like that. In order to find Franklin, we need to piece together some clues. But I don't know who to trust. Our work must be done in secret. No one can know I'm working with you.
And why do you trust me?
I too have dreams, Mr. Watson.
You can call me Darryl, Miss Lemon. What do you need me to do?
You can call me Jane. We need to get a book.
Book? What book?
A forbidden text that is locked away in the library on Worcester Street's basement.
Forbidden?
It's in a safe. You have 4 hours until the library opens. You must get this book. I'll explain more once you bring it to me. Just know it's a matter of life or death. Franklin had his hands on this book before losing it. It could have the information we need for a proper lead.
I knew I should say no and just walk away. But my curiosity would never let me. Where will I find you once I get this book?
You won't. I'll find you.
Well then, see you soon, Jane.
See you soon. And Darryl, please heed my warning. Beware the shadows.
Welcome to the quest for the Green Ball! Lost in Dreamlands! I am Anthony Otso, straight from the void in this fourth installment of our epic story. In the 10th year of our fantasy football league. Can you believe 10 years? That's crazy. It was a wild week one as well. We had a rookie breakouts in the NFL, injuries and monster games all around. Our league rookie, Pounders, had a monster week, and we already have an upset that shook up our power rankings. But 1 week is not enough to truly gauge our squads, and there are still 2 huge games left in divisional play before we move on to the non-divisional stretch a little later. 6 teams will not have a perfect season after losses in week 1, but which of our last 2 champions made the win column? Let's find out as we recap the last with the elite Mother Tuckers traveling to take on Green Acres in Tokyo, 1981. Mother Tuckers came in with a 61.6% chance to win, but Green Acres made a big trade before the matchup actually started, picking up running back Ramondre Stevenson and giving away quarterback Kyler Murray, 2 more than conquerors. The trade proved to be huge as Stevenson picked up 126 total yards and a touchdown to lead the defending champions to a 91.08 to 84.36 win over the 2022 champ in an Asia-Pacific Void showdown. But the big difference was actually at defense, with the Chicago Bears collecting 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery, and a touchdown to outscore the Bengals defense 25-4. Matthew Stafford added a touchdown, and Nico Collins had 117 yards to also help Green Acres. The elite Mother Tuckers had nice games by Tony Pollard, who had 94 yards and a score, and Bijan Robinson, who had 111 yards. Dak Prescott also scored. Even with so many underperformances, the game did come down to Monday night, with George Kittle falling about a touchdown short of getting the comeback. Oddly enough, player to watch Devon Achane collected 100 yards and a touchdown to easily win the battle over Puka Nacua. Nacua re-injured his knee and will now miss multiple weeks in a big blow for Green Acres. Green Acres starts off well, however, with a big Week 1 win. The elite Mother Tuckers start 0-1 and will be hoping for a 2022 finish when they lost Week 1 and then rattled off a league record 15 straight wins to win the Green Bowl title.
What's up, guys? I am excited this year for another fantasy year, and I'm excited to start off with a Week 1 Game of the Week victory against the Mother Tuckers. It was a close game. I got pretty lucky with the Bears defense with that Will Levis, worst pick six of my memory. Thank you, Will Levis. You saved me. I'm a little worried about my team. I don't think I'm ever going to auto-draft anymore because I just have a team full of wide receivers.
That was a close call with the game coming down to Monday night, and there were several other close matchups heading into the final game of Week 1. Let's look at those and all the other results in the best of the rest. In the other Asia-Pacific Void matchup, Pounders hosted Risky Business and had an impressive league debut with a 146.28 to 97.02 beatdown of a former Green Bowl champion. Pounders is loaded at quarterback, but could only play one. He had 3 of the top 4 quarterbacks on his roster in Week 1 and chose to play the eventual top one, with Josh Allen collecting 4 touchdowns. Rookie Xavier Worthy added 2 speedy scores, and Breece Hall, Chris Godwin, and James Conner also reached the end zone. James Cook had over 100 yards, and the Vikings D stepped up for 5 sacks, 2 picks, and a touchdown. Even kicker Cairo Santos did his thing with the 50-yard and 40-yard field goal. Risky Business also had big games from his kicker and defense, with Fairbairn collecting 3 50-yard field goals and the Saints finishing with 4 sacks, 2 picks, and a fumble recovery. Kyron Williams added a touchdown, and Justin Jefferson also reached the end zone. Josh Jacobs had over 100 yards. But some major disappointments, such as Caleb Williams and a lack of beast games, ultimately did Risky Business in. Pounders sits atop the division with the most points so far. Risky Business starts 0-1. We had a huge upset in the American Void, with the Overcomers claiming a 105.46 to 96.54 win over Air Jordan at home, which is not just an upset in the projections, but also with the power rankings. The big difference was Christian McCaffrey suddenly being ruled out on Monday night, which led to a 0 for Air Jordan, as no pickup could get any points. Kicker Jake Moody did make the score a lot closer, though, with 2 40-yard and 2 50-yard field goals to finish with 25 points. If McCaffrey did play, Air Jordan may have gotten a huge comeback and was actually expected to. The Overcomers did enough on Sunday, however. C.J. Stroud had 2 touchdowns, Cooper Kupp had 120 yards and a score, and the Cowboys added 6 sacks, 2 picks, and a return touchdown. Derrick Henry and Aaron Jones also reached the end zone. Air Jordan had a nice game by Kenneth Walker with 109 yards and a score, and Jalen Waddle and Rachaad White each had over 100 yards. Patrick Mahomes threw for a touchdown too, though he did have a down game for his standards. The Overcomers are now 1-0 and on top of the division with the most points there. Mr. Third Round, Air Jordan, starts 0-1. The Stellar Bitches were the other winner in the American Void, needing the San Francisco defense to lead them to a 91.06 to 88.64 win over hosts Remember the Titans. This one somehow came down to garbage time with a meaningless Jets touchdown late in the fourth quarter, almost giving Remember the Titans the win. A missed 2-point conversion clinched the victory for the Stellar Bitches. Joe Mixon also helped with 178 yards and touchdown. Isaiah Pacheco added 78 yards and a score, and A.J. Brown had 119 yards and a 50-plus yard touchdown. Remember, the Titans was led by Zach Moss and Jahmyr Gibbs, who each had scores. Kyle Pitts also reached the end zone, and Rashee Rice had over 100 yards. The Steelers' defense had 2 sacks, 2 picks, and a fumble recovery. Stellar Bitches are 1-0. Remember, the Titans start 0-1. In the European Void, host Minerva's Minions needed just 3 players to hold on to the cash of Mentats in a rivalry beatdown over low-key Lebowski Thor, 105.78 to 68.22. Anthony Richardson had 3 touchdowns and used his arm and his legs to score over 30 points. Saquon Barkley added 132 yards and 3 scores to also get over 30 points, and Stephon Diggs collected 2 touchdowns. Those 3 players combined for enough points to outscore Lebowski Thor's entire squad. There were 3 bright spots for Thor, though. Jalen Hurts had 2 touchdowns, and Elvin Kamara and Tyreek Hill each had over 100 yards in the score. Minerva's Minions has now defeated Lebowski Thor's 7 straight games dating back to 2020. The Minions are 1-0 to start. Lebowski Thor is 0-1. Lastly, the Clash at Demon Head went on the road to crush More Than Conquerors, 116.2 to 81.98. Jaden Reed had a monster game with 171 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Brian Robinson added 89 yards and a score. Jonathan Taylor also scored, and Jordan Love had 2 touchdowns before getting injured late. Brandon Aubrey also proved to be huge at kicker with 2 40-yard and 2 50-yard field goals. Trade pickup Kyler Murray had 1 touchdown for More Than Conquerors, and David Montgomery and Jerome Ford also reached the end zone. Deebo Samuel added 77 yards and a touchdown on Monday night. The Clash at Demon Head are on top of the European Void due 2 points, and last year's runner-up More Than Conquerors starts 0-1. It's good to be back, claiming those rivalry awards. These Cash of Mentats have been with me for multiple years now. Lebowski Thor still hasn't beat me in a while. So we'll see if that continues when we play each other again later this year. Gotta love those Mentats. We quickly learn how mentally taxing fantasy football can be, though. Injuries, holdouts, rust during the lack of preseason reps, rookie mistakes, coaching decisions, probably the most frustrating. None of it inspires confidence for an incident-free year, and that's the case each season. This is also why it is so much fun. We never know what will happen week to week or over the course of an overall season. We just try to make the best choices possible and hope they pay off. But some of us are flying high after week 1 and will look to continue that, amazing ride. We all want to get some winning streaks going. Hope you enjoyed the show. Tomorrow we will preview another big week of divisional matchups with all 6 1-0 teams taking on 0-1 teams. Plus we have another Asia Pacific Void matchup to highlight. We'll get to that. Before you go, check out the updated power rankings, and there are some shakeups. Until next time, salut.